Hey friends, and on today's show, I want to save you from a scam, as a lot of people have been contacting me to tell me about one that's on the severe increase. The sad thing is that despite many people reporting it to Facebook and Instagram, there's been little or no action to stop these scam ads that we're going to have a look at from showing. I also want to bring you a story about what the current virus lockdown is doing to live music venues, all coming up on today's show. So before we dive into the scam topic, a couple of things. First, I know that we are overdue big time on the video with the Harley Benton SG behind me, but I'm still waiting on a response from Thomann. I'm guessing that they're short-staffed and are really busy with more pressing things than my question. We'll wait patiently for the answers and then I'll make the video as promised. I might chase them. But next today, I want to share some concerning news reported by the papers here in the UK. It relates to live music venues, and it's something that all of us as musicians should be aware of, and perhaps it's something that we can help with. While this is a UK story, I know that this situation is bound to be the same in the USA and elsewhere too. With enforced closures of pubs and clubs, many of these being prime live music venues, many of them are really struggling to make ends meet financially. It's reported that here in the UK, over 160 live music venues are at risk due to closure and lockdown measures. With clubs and theatres closed and no revenue coming in, many of our most prestigious small music venues may struggle to make it out the other side of the current crisis. The Mirror newspaper describes these venues as being on life support, listing venues that have hosted early gigs by some very prolific acts including Oasis, Nirvana and Adele. There have been warnings that thousands of jobs are at risk in the music industry, particularly on the live scene. And the industry is facing eye-watering losses of over 900 million just in the UK if nothing is done. The industry's lobbying government, but at the same time, many of these venues have turned to public and crowdfunding to help them survive. It's mainly the smaller grassroots venues that have been put at serious risk of closure, but all entertainment venues will ultimately be at risk if things stay as they are indefinitely. There's been help from the Music Venues Trust, who have set up a campaign to fundraise called Save Our Venues, and they state that over 400 venues are at risk of imminent closure. The venues include places like the Lead Mill in Sheffield, who showcased early performances by Oasis, Pulp and even Nirvana. And the Forum in Tunbridge Wells, where Adele, Coldplay and even Green Day have all performed. I'll include a link to the full article in the description, as there you'll find a full list of venues affected and who are ready for asking for public help to survive. There are a few on the list that I've even played myself in my earlier days in bands. Certainly there are a few that are local to me in and around the Brighton area. At the end of all this, it will be a terrible shame if we emerge from lockdown to find that all our cultural centres are no longer there. It'll be a disaster for the next generation of musicians and artists, and so hopefully we can all do our small bit to just help out one of the venues local to us. So please check out the venues list if you're in the UK, and if there's one near you, maybe see if you can make a small contribution to help them. It might make all the difference when things return to normal. My second item today definitely affects all of you, no matter if you're in the UK, the USA or anywhere. I've been getting lots of messages about a huge fake guitar scam that's happening on Facebook, Instagram and I'm sure other social media pages too. What is more worrying is that the people who've told me have already reported them and there's been absolutely no action. So today I have links to two sites who are regularly posting ads on social media with guitar deals with big brand names that are simply too good to be true. And believe me, at under $100 for almost every guitar for sale, this is definitely too good to be true. It's not true. It's a scam and you need to be aware, as in reality all these sites are really trying to do is get you to put in your personal details, your credit card details. There's no way that you'll ever see any of the guitars that they're showing, and frankly I believe that you would be sent nothing at all. So let's go and have a look at these two sites, and immediately you've seen both, you'll know just why this is frankly fake. The first one is one that I've already seen on the Trogley's Guitar Show, as they were using his videos and stealing them to add credibility to their adverts on Facebook and Instagram. The site is simply called Guitar Shop. I'm sure you'll see that it's an original title, hey? But as soon as we go on, you can see that they're selling big brand names: Fender, Gibson, Taylor. However, when we take a look at the second site, equally imaginatively called Just Music, you'll immediately see that both sites are almost identical, featuring the same Taylor, Martin, Gibson and Fender guitars. Not just similar, but the very same, down to the model description and picture. So clearly these scammers have multiple sites which are all identical other than the name, and will supposedly be sending the exact same guitars. What utter nonsense. And this should be enough of a red flag for you to know that these stores are not going to send you anything but a whole lot of grief. I believe that they're harvesting personal information, and they're likely most interested in your bank or credit card details so that they can sell your information or try to use your payment details. Sites like this also have a habit of trying passwords you put in against details on other platforms, social media pages and email accounts. Please believe me folks, this is definitely a scam, and the prices, it's less than it costs to build these instruments. There are very few companies who can build instruments at this cost point alone, let alone sell them at this point. I know we've covered Glary guitars who are really cheap in the past, and even those budget guitars are built using very cheap labour and very cheap parts, and they're not much less than these. So just in case you're still not with me, let's dig one level further and look at the same guitar on both sites. The one stands out for me is a green Gibson 2017 Les Paul Classic T in Ocean Green Burst. By clicking on both guitars, you'll see that every detail on both websites is identical, right down to the awful PayPal logo and guaranteed safe checkout graphic. What's more, I can verify for certain that all these pictures are genuine. Those are definitely photos of legitimate Gibson guitars, right down to the genuine Grover tuners. However, the other thing I can guarantee is that the photos are the only thing about these websites that are real. They're stolen from legitimate sites and Gibson's own pictures. The other thing that you'll notice right away is that there is a special offer timer on both sites. And this has one purpose, and that is to make you put in your details before you lose the deal of a lifetime. It's pressure selling tactic, and one that you'll never find on any legitimate site from any seller that's worth buying for. So folks, do yourself a favour. If ever you see an ad for a site like this, give it a really wide berth. I'd usually say please be sure to report them to Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media platform you see them on. However, I've been told by at least 4 friends online that they've repeatedly reported these sites to Facebook, and yet there still appear to be absolutely no action taken. To me, this is appalling, as Facebook have a duty not to offer adverts for counterfeit products, just like the rest of us are not allowed to sell them. Statutes all over the world requires companies like Facebook and Instagram to ensure this kind of scam offering is removed, reported to the legal authorities and prevented from reoccurring. But clearly, Facebook's not applying this action. Now, you could say it's due to low staffing levels at this particular time and there's not enough staff to process all these reports. However, I don't accept that, as if 4 of my subscribers have reported it to me, that they've reported it to Facebook, then how many others must have done likewise? The other thing you might say is that with 2 identical sites, perhaps they're removing them, but they keep on popping up with another name. Well, that's not true either, as both of these sites have been up for well over a month. Indeed, Trogley's video was about Guitar Shop, and it was posted in April this year. And he also stated that he'd reported them to Facebook. So what are you doing, Facebook? Why are you not acting on what must be hundreds of reports from people about these scams? I guess the ad revenue is more important to you than your users' security. Anyway, the moral of the story this week, folks, remains as it always does. If it looks too good to be true, then it really is. You can't trust either of these scam sites, and sadly it seems that you can't trust Fakebook either. Let me know your thoughts and experiences in the comment section below. I really look forward to reading them and responding to them. I'll be back on Friday again this week with the best content that I can, but in the meantime, as always, my dear friends, you take good care.